Alright, so I'm going to show how to open up and disassemble this MSI GS63VR 7RF-674US. This also has a model number MS-16K2. So first what you want to do, of course, is remove all the batteries from, or the screws from the bottom, and also shut it down if you haven't already. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's one under this sticker. I don't know if yours probably won't have that, but 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, let's remove those screws. Okay, let me make sure. Yeah, that's right, 15. Took out already 15. Once you get out those 15 screws, you want to remove this back bracket here. So this is like the other, one of the other, I think, GS63 thin models that I worked on. But basically, you slide your fingernail or pry tool underneath this little section here, and then you can pop this out. All right, let's see here. Just like this. Alright, so you have to pull these little clips out, and then it comes out just like that. It'll rotate forward, and then you can pull this piece out. To put it back, of course, you put it back like this, and then you rotate it back down, and the clips will go into this metal bracket. Alright, so take that out. Alright, this one the battery's inflating, so it's kind of coming up easier, but basically you would slide your pry tool or fingernail along the edges as you kind of lift it. So normally the clips will kind of hold it in place, but this battery's kind of pushing it out. So here you can see there's the clips all along here. Okay, so that's how you get the cover off. Set that aside. To remove the battery, you'll have to use like a pry tool or something. But basically you can see there's this plastic tab here right above the speaker. So I'll put the pry tool there in between the battery and that plastic tab, and then just pull it up. Slowly pull it. There's an adhesive under here. There's a foam. That layer is going to separate, so the adhesive won't really hold that well after you take this out. But once you get that part up, kind of just keep tilting it, and then the rest of the adhesive will come out. And then what you want to do is, if you can grab the connector. If not, just grab as close to these wires as you can, and then grab the wires as close to the connector as you can, and then you kind of just wiggle it as you pull. So as you can see, if I keep wiggling it, it'll just slide out just like that. Okay, so that's how you remove the battery. Right here you can see the adhesive strips that were underneath, so these are a little bit sticky still, but yeah. So we'll set the battery aside. After you do that, you want to hold the power button. Usually I'd open the screen. Be careful when you open it because there's less screws holding the hinges in place. So just open it slowly. Don't try and open it too quick. And then just hold the power button for about 10-15 seconds to drain any power. That way if you have to remove the LCD connector, it won't get damaged. Okay, so we'll do that. Alright. Once you do that, we'll have to start removing everything else. Here's the CMOS battery. So this is tucked behind this plastic piece here, just like the other model I worked on a while back. But basically you can pry up the CMOS battery, just go underneath and then slowly lift it. Someone's calling me, but I think it's spam, so I'm gonna let it go. Okay, so just slowly pry this up. Oh, that's actually pretty strong. I have to use a thicker pry tool. So, slowly pry this up. If you want, you don't have to remove the CMOS battery because the adhesive here is pretty strong. So what you can do is once you take the screws out, you can lift this board up and then pull the connector, which it looks like I'm going to do that so I don't have to rip out the adhesive there. Okay. Alright, so we're actually going to go ahead and start disconnecting things. So you got all this Kapton tape here. So this is like for heat and to prevent things from shorting out, I guess. And then they taped it on top of these rubber pieces. So I'm actually going to peel the tape this way. Let's see if that'll work. And they put too many things here. So once you do that, you can flip up these little latches and you can disconnect here. This is the trackpad connector. Okay. Then you got a connector here for the 3 USB-C ports and the audio jacks. So just lift up the tape. You will have to undo all this tape here. They put so much tape on this, I don't know why. So to lift that up, you can use like a thin or a small needle or something. Just get under the edge. Be careful not to scrape the logic board or the motherboard with the tool. So just get underneath the edge and then slow and pull it up. Okay, just like that. Alright, and peel the tape forward. Alright, once you got the tape out of the way, then you can do the same thing. Lift up the little latch, black latch, and then you can pull this connector back. Alright, just like that. Alright, then you got the keyboard connector here. It looks like I will have to peel it off the rubber piece. So I will peel this back. You got the keyboard backlight cable connector here. Again, like all the other ones, flip up the little tab and then pull the cable back. This I'm going to try and hold down the rubber piece so it doesn't peel it up, and just peel off the tape if possible. Oh man, that's super strong. Okay, I'll hold the rubber piece from here and then peel it. There we go, that works. Okay, there we go. Peel up that adhesive. Alright, flip up the little latch and pull that back. Alright, they fold the cable so it's underneath the logic board or the motherboard, so just know that you're gonna have to kind of peel that up. Alright, and then these cables are gonna have to get out of the way. Then we're gonna have to remove the screws, but let's finish disconnecting everything else first. So you got the hard drive here. If you want, you can upgrade this to a 2.5-inch SATA SSD. So then you can speed up your computer a lot that way. Alright, so let's peel these little tabs out. Alright, lift up the tabs and then pull the connector out. This is for the hard drive connector. And then this I think is for the LED bar on front here. Alright, so once you get those out, oh, there's this button here for a battery reset. It goes actually through the outer casing. So if for some reason your computer's not turning on or something, sometimes you can use a little needle or a pin and push this button through that, and it'll reset basically the CMOS, and that will sometimes get your computer to work again. But yeah, so move this cable out of the way. Then you got the hard drive here. Usually, to be safe, I don't like to pull on the connectors and stuff. What I do is I get a small screwdriver. I don't know if you can see, like this. And then I'll use one of the screw holes and then just pry it up like that. Okay, so I don't know if you saw that. But yeah, basically I use the screwdriver in the hole, and then I'll use this to pry it and use it as a handle to lift it up. All right, so there's the hard drive. Yeah, 2.5-inch SATA SSD you can replace it with. This is just a regular spinning drive. All right, then you got this little cable here for the power button. So be careful, because if you damage this, you won't be able to turn your computer back on. All right, so the little lever and then pull this tab out. There we go, just like that. You got a lot of connectors under here. I think this is the speaker connector. Okay, so let's see here. So there's another, okay, so this speaker actually connects to this USB board here, and then I think this speaker connects underneath here. You got the CMOS battery, of course. What else? Oh, we need to disconnect the LCD cable here, and then also this SD card LAN board, so we'll have to remove all of those. So again, there's this adhesive. Actually, I'll leave that side. I'll just take out the parts from the motherboard. So just use a little needle again and then pull up the adhesive. Alright, once I got the adhesive, flip this little latch. It looks like I'll actually have to take this board out to make it easier to take out the wireless card. So let's see, so I'll lift up this. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. And then flex the cable a little bit and then pull it out. Alright. So we got all of that, and then we need to get the LCD cable out. Alright, just like this. Flip up the little latch. Alright, pull up the adhesive and then peel that out. So this cable has a lot of adhesive on it, so you want to be careful. When you peel it up, you don't want to bend the cable or flex it too much. So try and keep the cable as flat as possible as you peel this up. Okay, so just like that. And then you can move the cable out of the way. Then you also got this connector here. I'm not sure what that's for. It's probably for that power LED light on the front. So we'll see when I take the board out. Alright, then you got the wireless card there. So I'm going to take out this SD card slot thing just to make it a little bit easier. So there's 2 screws holding it in place, one on each side. Alright, now we can lift this up and we can take this out. Killer wireless card, okay. And then you got the same with this, you can actually take this out as well. There's just 1 screw holding it down here. So I'm going to leave that in place because I don't need to take that out. Alright, so undo the screw for the wireless card. Okay, be careful when you take the screws out. Make sure that the screwdriver stays firmly in the screw. You don't want to strip the screws or it's going to be very difficult to take these things apart. Alright. Okay, so now we got the wireless card out. To remove the antennas, you just go as close to the tail and then pull it up and it'll pry it out. Don't try and pull from the front of the thing. Don't try and pry this out or you can break the connectors. Alright, so just like that. And then to remove the wireless card, I like to lift it up the back side and then kind of just pull using the top here since there's not much room to grip the sides of the chip. Alright, there you go. So now we got all of that out, and now we'll just remove the screws for the motherboard. So we got one right here, hopefully you can see. Okay, got another one down here. One thing I like to do to make this a little easier is if you have like a Sharpie or something, you can actually mark these parts here just so you know where you took a screw out from, and then you can easily find out where to put the screws back, because there's a lot of these holes where you might get confused and then put the screw there. So I'll usually, if there's no indications of where the screws came from, I'll make an indication with like a Sharpie just like this. Okay, so there's another screw up here. Alright, that way you know for sure where you took the screws from. And then you got 2 screws here, so we'll remove those 2. Okay, try to not to mix up the screws because some of them are slightly different sized. Alright. Okay, that as well. And now it looks like it's mostly loose. I don't know if there's any other screws on here. Let's see. Okay, the fan is held down with the screw, so we will have to remove this screw as well. Okay. So that one I don't have a thing to mark, or the black won't be visible. I actually have a silver marker, so if I want I can mark that as well. Okay. So this is coming up now. You can see it's actually lifting up. Just be careful because there's all these connectors kind of being held down with tape, so you kind of want to make sure to move the tape out of the way. Alright, make sure it's not holding anything down. Let's see, are there any other screws I'm missing here? I don't see any. I think that should be it. So let's lift this side. And then there's some tape back here. Okay, so it looks like this board actually lifts up easier from the back side, which is kind of interesting. And all these ports, I think, are getting caught in the frame. So when you lift it out, you have to make sure to lift from the side with the 2 fans first, because otherwise the ports, the stuff that's sticking out there will get caught. So I don't know why it feels stuck. Oh, I see. Let me peel off this piece here. So this tape that's getting stuck on these rubber pieces look like it needs to be peeled up. Okay. There we go. Peel off that. Alright. There we go. Now it's actually coming up. Make sure if you're doing this that you keep yourself grounded. I actually have my knee touching like a metal piece of my desk to pull any electricity out. Alright, so then you got this CMOS battery connector. Try and grab the white plastic piece of the connector and then just wiggle and pull it. Just keep wiggling, don't yank too hard. It'll eventually come out. So just keep wiggling it. There you go. Alright, and then slowly, carefully lift this up. Move all the cables out of the way. Alright, be careful. Again, there's the speaker connector here as well in this bottom corner. So just grab it, wiggle it, and pull it out. Okay, and there we go. So now we got this out. Oh man, so there's like a big ball of like cat hair under here. That's probably why the fan was making noise. I'm going to use a toothbrush and just scrub off all the dust from the fans. Wow, it got pretty dusty in this computer. I'm wondering if that's what was stopping the fan. Oh, that might have actually been what was making the fan make the noise. So this one, the fan was like making a noise and it was actually hard for the fan to spin. After I moved that hairball from it, it actually spins freely now. So it looks like we don't have to replace the fan, hopefully. Okay. Sorry for all this empty space not showing anything, but I'm just cleaning dust off of this piece, okay? Alright, now that we got all the dust off, now I'll show you the bottom. So the other side of the board, you want to set this down on a flat surface if you can. Let's see, and make sure to put it somewhere that the electricity is not going to like fry it. So usually a wood surface works well. Okay. Alright, so we got that, or you can just leave it here, but be careful because it's very uneven, so you don't want to put pressure on top of the board. You can flex the board and crack it. Okay, so you got the RAM here, so there's 2 sticks of RAM. Put it on the bottom, the hardest place to access, of course. So this is a 8 gig PC4 12 or 2400T. So if you need to replace the RAM, that's what you would get. 16 gigs is more than enough. So if you have the same model and you have 16 gigs of RAM, there's really no point to upgrade it other than to say that you have more RAM than other people. Some people will put like 32 gigs, but yeah, I don't think there's really a point to do that. Alright, so push that down, make sure the clips re-engage. Alright, then there's a M.2 NVMe PCIe SSD here. So if you do want to add more storage, this is a 250 gig SSD. You can take this screw out and then replace the SSD with a larger one. But if you do that, I have another video for how to clone it. Make sure to watch that one first so you can actually clone this SSD to the new one. Okay, let's see, is there anything else? You got the fan connectors here. They come out just like the other speaker cables and the CMOS battery, and the other fan connector there. And if you're going to take out this heatsink, make sure that you have thermal paste ready, and you might also need some heat pads if you take it out. Usually the heat pads you can reuse it, but the thermal paste you always want to clean it off and reapply new thermal paste if you ever take out the heatsink. Okay, so before this fan was having a hard time spinning. When I turned it, it just got stuck. Now it actually spins okay. It's still a little bit bad, so I'm probably gonna take it out and see if I can clean it more internally, but yeah. So let's see here, can I take this fan out? Okay, there's 3 screws. I'm gonna attempt to take this fan out. Let's see here. So you got these 3 screws holding this fan in place, and these are pH 0, I believe. So just make sure if you use a screwdriver to open anything that the screwdriver is tight in the screw, it doesn't bounce out. If it bounces out, you want to stop and make sure you get the right screwdriver, because once you strip the screws, you're not going to be able to open it. Okay, and I'm putting pressure from the bottom because I don't want to flex the board too much, so I'm just pushing up on the back of the fan while I undo the screw. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Alright, so there's 3 screws, 2 on the bottom and then 1 in this top corner. And then the other piece, I believe, is also like an adhesive holding it in place. So let's see here. Hopefully I can take this fan out and clean it. If I can't clean it, I'm gonna have to possibly replace the fan if it's still bad and noisy. Okay, let's see. All those screws are out. I'm not sure what's holding it in place now. So it does separate. Oh, okay, so it's caught on the motherboard here. So this fan, you might actually have to take the heatsink out if you want to replace the fan. Either that or you're gonna have to do some special maneuvers here. I'm gonna see what I can do. I'm trying to remove the fan connector. There we go. So if I can lift the back side up first, then I can slide the fan out this way. But I believe there's a clip also down here, so might be tough. I don't actually see the metal clip holding it. Okay, so I'm gonna actually peel up the adhesive holding the fan in place here. Let's see here. This fan will come out towards the top, so I'm gonna peel off the upper layer. So we got this. It's in pry tool, and it can actually slide underneath this adhesive. Right, so this pry tool is actually like a frosting spatula, and then I just used a file and sanded it down so it's like super sharp now. This file is, or this spatula is actually sharp enough to kind of cut some stuff now. So okay, so now that we got that, it should hopefully come up. Yep, there we go. So now that the adhesive is removed, you can see we can lift the fan. So to remove this fan, let's see, gotta lift it that way and then slide it. Let's see if I can do this. So it's caught on both sides here, so it's gonna be a little tough. But yeah, if you're not doing this, then you don't really need to worry about this whole part that I'm doing. This is just additional stuff to try and clean this fan that's being a little noisy. So let's see, I'll try and push that down and then wiggle this out. Yeah, they made this tough. I think you'd have to remove the whole heatsink. I don't want to have to do that though, because then I have to redo all the paste on this computer, and that's a lot of paste and stuff that would need to be redone. So let's see if I can just lift it slightly enough to remove the fan. Okay. Let's come in. Are you using other adhesives on this side? It doesn't look like it, it's just caught. Something else is holding it, like some adhesive, it feels like. Wow, see, there's some big hairballs in there. I don't know if you can see it. So that's what's actually slowing this thing down. So yeah, I really do want to remove this at least to get those hairballs out. So let's see, got that. Yeah, this fan is tough to remove without taking out the whole heatsink, it looks like. I don't see a clip or anything else holding it, so it is just getting caught on something here. It's getting caught on this side. Okay, it did actually come out a little bit, so there we go. So we gotta pull it. Oops, sorry, can't see that. But basically I pushed this side down while lifting this side of the board up, and then I pulled this out because this side was getting caught. Right, so here you can see there's another big hairball. So we'll clean that out, and hopefully that will get the fan running well. Sometimes it's not the hairballs that are stopping it, but also the dust. So let's see, that means I might have to take this fan out as well. What is that? Some tape residue or something. Okay, so now that we got that hairball out, okay, a lot of times you can actually pull these fins up. So yeah, the fins come out, and if that's the case, I usually like to clean the dust out from here and then put a drop of synthetic motor oil in there. So I have videos for how to do that in another one, but I'm gonna do it anyways since I already have it open. Alright, so take the fan blades out. You have to apply even pressure when you pull it out, and it comes out just like that. Alright, so to apply the oil, what I do is I'll get like the bottle of oil, and then I'll just take a needle like this, dip it in the oil, and a drop of oil will stick on it. Once I get the, let's see, try and get a small drop so it doesn't just fall off. Okay, so once I get a drop of oil on the needle, I don't think you can see that, but you basically just drop it in there. Okay, just like that. All right, and then after you do that, you can put the fan back on and then twirl it around. If it doesn't help too much, what you want to do is take the fan out, clean the thing off, and then reapply more oil. So right now, as you can see, when I turn it, it kind of just stops. Usually if the fan is well lubricated, if you turn it, as you can see, the fan kind of wiggles back and forth. See? So these fans are good. This fan, if I turn it, it kind of just stops. It does a slight wiggle, but it stops. So usually if that's the case, I take the fan back out, get a piece of paper, clean the oil off, and then just put another drop of oil. And I'll repeat that until it kind of wiggles freely. Okay. So we'll put some more oil in there. Alright. Sometimes the fan, if it doesn't improve enough, then you'll probably want to replace the fan, but it's a lot better than it was before. It's still a little bad, but it's a lot better than it was before. When I first started working on it, it would have a tough time even turning. So we'll do it one more time, because usually if you do it 2-3 times and it doesn't really improve that much, then that's probably as good as you can get it. Alright, if you need the fan model number, this is a BS5005HS-U2F1, so right there, if you can see it, I don't know. Alright, so I'll put one more drop of oil, and then we'll call it quits. After that, I think it should be good, because probably most of the noise was coming from that ball of fur. But yeah. So add some more oil, and hopefully it is good now. Usually if after all that it doesn't improve, then it's probably as good as it's going to get. Sometimes it's the bearing is damaged, so adding oil is not going to fix it. You'd have to replace the fan. I don't know of a way to replace just the bearing. So it's still kind of a little bit stiff, but looks like it's not really improving much, so we'll leave it there. And that's pretty much all there is to this. Oops, sorry. That's pretty much all there is to this video. The only thing left is putting it back together. If you have a problem with the video fans, so this is upside down, but I don't know why the label on this one doesn't have anything, but this is the other fan. If you need, you can look up for this laptop model and then just look for the fan. This is the GPU fan, I believe, and then this is the CPU fan. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Basically just plop this fan back in place. So just like this. Same thing as before. Pull this side up and then slide this plastic piece back under, and make sure you get the power connector out as well. Okay, so just lift that up, wiggle it around, and there we go. Pop back in place, put the screws back in, and you're good to go. So that's all there is to this model. Hopefully this video helped you. If it did, please like and subscribe because that'll help me. And thank you for watching. Bye.